It's your boy HD. Everybody get up on the dance floor and go, and go, and go crazy. And go crazy. And go crazy. And go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the old to LA. Go crazy like a dum-dum. Eastside homeboy, where I come from. Dance on the floor till you go numb. No fighting, no hating, no red rum. This is O City. All the way to the bay, hit the bass, feel it. Catch a case cause it's beating up your Chevy. Get you moving side to side, getting out sweaty. Make it work it, work it, work it out. Turn the volume up loud. It's a draw crowd, make it all shout. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Hit play on the track and I'm ready. Like a quarterback, Tom Brady. Get you all in the frenzy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go, go, go.
Hey. What's going on, y'all? What is going on? It is Tuesday and 8:04. We in this thing, and it is time for another Scoop Nation, another Scoop Show. And we are so glad that you have decided to go on and slide on in here and hang out with us for a few minutes, get this good conversation going, hang out with the cool kids for a while. I dub us that every once in a while. When I'm feeling real good, I like to call us the cool kids. So yeah, come on in this room and have this conversation with us on this evening. We are ready to rock with you on tonight. So as you can tell, I'm quite warm and fuzzy. I'm real familial around here, okay? I'm already talking like we know each other. But I'm also fully aware that some of you all may be new. And we are, again, welcome. We're so glad that you're here, so welcome. But we know that you are going to love this show, okay? So come on in here, get comfortable. And the first way to do that is say what's up. And by doing that, drop your city and state in that comment section. Let everybody know just where you're repping from, okay? Not too much. We don't want your whole life story right off the bat. We'll let you tell us that as time progresses. All we want to know is where you're repping from, okay? So in that comment section, go ahead and drop your city and state. And while you're down there, if you would, please be so kind and hit that share button, so that your people on your main line will know where you're hanging out for a little bit. And we would like them very much to come on in and join us on this evening, because if they are your people, we are pretty confident that they would be good people for us too, okay? We want them to be our people. So hit that share button, let them know where you're going to be chilling for the next few minutes, and go and get comfortable, okay? We also know that you may not be able to hang out for the entire time, okay? Because our folks be busy right here. We got things to do. Just be bedtime, dinner time, laundry time. All the times happen at this time, okay? So we understand that you might not be able to hang out for the full show. So we have this handy dandy thing called a replay that we got set up for you, okay? And you can do that in many different ways. And we got you out here on YouTube. You can hit that good old bell on YouTube by searching us at the Scoop Show. Whoo, I need my glasses. At the Scoop Show. You are tuning in right here on Facebook at Real Scoop Show. And you can listen to wrong slide. You can listen to us on SoundCloud.
Oh, it sure is.
I even fixed it. Delete. You can listen to us if video is not what you can do at the time. You can also catch that replay on SoundCloud at The Scoop Show. Okay. And we are also on Instagram at The Scoop Radio Show. This is where all of our hot topics, this is where hot news, all the good stuff gets shared on these here channels. So be sure to tap in, hit the bells, hit the likes, thumbs, all of the things to make sure that you are locked in with the scoop when we hit that good old replay. Too funny. Too funny. Speaking of hot topics, we always want to, we often create our hot topics. And here lately, it's been pretty much hook, line, and sinker. Our hot topics come straight out of the inbox. So if you find yourself enjoying these next few conversation topics, you got something that you want to tell the people, we are inviting you to hit us up in the DM, slide on in our DM, slide in the inbox, drop those links, drop those memes, drop those conversation starters so we can share them with our pages, with our people, and we can get the conversation started. And if it gets real good, you'll see it on the show and we'll talk about it for the world, Craig. Okay? So go ahead, slide in them DMs and give us the conversations because, we can't be everywhere out here in these internet streets, all right? We got things to do. We got shows to cultivate. We got all kinds of things to do, okay? So we get excited when you want to share the things that got you lost in the sauce. When you find yourself down that comment rabbit hole, go, oop, let me go on, hit them 3 dots, grab that copy link, share that with your people because we want to talk about it too, okay? I think that's it.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it.
I'm like, I go through my head, do the mental check. Yeah. How are you, bro?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Today, but busy, but I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. This Tuesday don't feel so much like a Monday, so I'll take it.
Listen, y'all had some drama, so I know we can't talk about it, but you had some drama today. So
we cannot talk about it in any kind of detail. We have been told twice that we ain't got nothing to say. Watch the news. That's for the official statement.
Nevertheless,
but yeah, it was exciting. Well, I mean, it was interesting.
I got you.
We got lots of giggles out of it. I'll say that. it was interesting. Yeah. Where I am, we're a target for those types of things because
Absolutely.
Big ass buildings tend to do that. Because today that's all that had. So that was the whole reason for it.
Pretty much.
But yep, fun times.
Pretty much. So yeah, good day. Mm-hmm. Glad we got a lot of good stuff to talk about today. Of course, so I'm gonna say it since you haven't. Today is Kelly Kell's birthday.
Yes, it is. I was waiting to see her enter the room so I could show out real good. But go ahead and do your thing.
It's Kelly Kell's birthday. Yeah, I know that's your Kelly Kell, but that's my Kelly Kell too. So
I'll share a little bit.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
Happy birthday, sissy.
Yeah, absolutely good day. What else? That's it. We got you ready to get into these topics?
Yeah.
Did we wait? Question. Last week, did we get to our main topic last week? Because we never.
The one that's still hanging out on the agenda.
Yeah, did we talk? I couldn't remember if we actually.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
we did. Mm-hmm. I don't even remember.
You had a lot going on last week. I'm not really surprised that you don't remember.
Listen, because last Tuesday I done moved.
Yeah.
I had to preach Sunday. I had
You've had a lot.
And work and
What's up, KG?
What up, KG?
Oh no, you ain't late. You ain't missing nothing. We ain't talking about nothing. We just saying what's it.
So yeah, it was a week. This is a week.
So needless to say, you're leading second half because
if we have a second half.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
Oh, okay. No, we done. We're done. I'm tired.
These are good though. I think we'll have a good one with these. Yeah. We're gonna work.
All right, you ready to get into? Let's get into these topics. So the first one, actually, this one pretty much started last week, but I actually put this post up. So here it is.
This one alone can take up some time. The way that it's been floating on these internets, Lord.
So I post this. I posted this post. I said I think dudes are mad at Lori because it makes them think that if a wealthy, good-looking celebrity like Michael B. Jordan can't get his woman to commit and be loyal, what chance do they have? Do I have? Oh, and this is the same response ladies have when a beautiful, wealthy celebrity like Halle Berry gets cheated on. Here's the point: we have to stop inflicting these situations on each other and admit we are afraid to fully love and commit because we are struggling to love and value ourselves. We have learned to cover our traumas, but our words and actions expose them every time. So the question is: are celebrity relationships projections or reflections of our relationships?
That was my spin. I'm sure Win has an additional follow up to that. I just didn't have time to ask for it. But yes, I thought this post was interesting. The situation in itself is interesting. The way that it is snowballed, so to speak, but it's not surprising. And then to me, your breakdown made lots of sense. It was clear. It wasn't always the comment section got interesting to me because but interesting, but it also proved the point very much. I think we do get so spun up and caught up in celebrity relationships because one, they all, even if you don't really dig the thing that got a person to where they are, there is a certain level of success that we attribute to seeing them so much. Once we see a person out here and we see that they've got a certain amount of money, a certain level of access, people want to be there, all those things. We equate that with a level of safety, a level of no more problems. We got the more money, more problems, and we know that that happens, but there's a realm for that. But there's also a whole hell of a lot more fun that comes with having a whole lot more yeses that come along with all of this status. So when we see them having regular old problems, we don't really attack we it's funny though because we are desensitized to it, meaning we can say some of the craziest stuff ever, like the worst things you could possibly think to say about a situation or why a thing could happen. We do that because celebrity.
Right.
But we often will create this whole other thing that's not really the thing, that has nothing to do with the celebrity, and then we don't want to own where that comes from. So it's very interesting how connected we are to these very disconnected happenings. And then how, because we're like, oh, well, this is this. We're Dr. Everybody's at that point, and we're saying all the things and diagnosing all the things. But when you realize, when it comes out, or even it could be laid out for us, and we'll still add stuff to it. And then be like, but I mean, it ain't me. Like we hit it with, like, it's everybody start it, what this, but nobody's been in this situation. You know what I mean? So it's like, what are we doing here? So this one was very interesting because it does boil down very much to how we see ourselves. And then, because we attach our happenings, like the negative stuff that happened to our regular selves, we attach that emotion to these things that we're not supposed to care nothing about. We don't know nothing about it. Now that's their thing. And then we talk about it for like days on it. We're like in day 9, I think it is now. It's been a good little minute. Maybe not 9. It feels like 9. It feels like a lot of days.
It is definitely, it's like from the way I always find it interesting, like from even the way we set up our argument. Mm-hmm. Like, I was listening, they were like, well, like we have placed a value on her, a value on him. We have said who she is, and she ain't this, but she's only this because of this, and he's this. So, and that's how I got to the point of, again, we're projecting, to your point, we're projecting our situations on them, and not to say that some of our situations shouldn't.
Right. They're regular people, so they do have regular problems.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But then we realize that we don't think about there's another aspect of it in terms of because of their like there's a definitely a different aspect because they're celebrity, but we don't give them the same level of humanity that we give for ourselves because they have money, as if money doesn't mean that you have to deal with heartbreak or that at 25 you've got it figured out as a young lady. You know what I mean? Like we just don't like, or that she should make certain decisions because she's 25, and if she get to be 35, and then I'm like,
it's been so funny. We've attached community rules to celebrity people. But then at the same time, we'll say they don't move like us. They do what they do. Like they ain't in the same world as us. They don't move like us. And then, but we'll say like, that doesn't make sense. That if it were me, but it's not you. We just said that these people with all of this stuff, they don't move the same way. The rules aren't the same. That they don't. That's not even how they. It doesn't apply like that for them. We can say that fully until there's something like this that happens, and it hits a nerve. And now everyone's got the think pieces. The same thing with Beyonce. It was the same thing with Beyonce. Like she was empowered, she's sexy, she's this, she's hitting all the butt. If you were Team Beyonce, you were doing all of that. Like, how could he? Jay is crazy. We went on and on and on. And then it was, I bet you she's a bitch. Like, I bet you she mean. Better be like everybody. If you did not like,
you know what I said? I said, I bet she got ugly feet. That's what I said.
So it's just like some of it is, okay, fine. It's celebrities. If you're that type of folk, or you just like to go back and forth, okay, cool. But like, it shows so much of how what we've gone through and the things that we're still working through for how attacked we feel on behalf of someone else's pain. It's far outside the fandom.
It is again, it is the projection of how we feel about or the fact that we don't feel a certain way about ourselves. I know it's stupid that we don't feel a certain way about ourselves. So we think a lot of really what it boils down to is if we feel like if we had their money, we wouldn't have our problems.
Yes.
So because they have that money, they shouldn't have our problems, and B, they should be able to like escape this insecurity that we have about ourselves, because our insecurity is not going to be fixed by money.
No.
The reality is, whether you are wealthy or poor, your insecurity is still going to be your insecurity until you deal with the internal thing that causes the insecurity, not the external thing like money. So, or looks or fame or popularity. None of that deals with the insecurity. None of it. Just doesn't. Sorry. So now I saw I forgot his name, but he did a skit today of um Michael B. Jordan calling her now, and she answering the phone like, what? He's like, what? You act like you never loved me.
Oh my God.
Like he was like, this is a regular, and I was laughing because I'm like, this is a regular, like how every dude has to go through heartbreak. And he's like, y'all just, as I listen to it, I'm like, yeah. But it would be interesting to see it be Michael B. Jordan, because when we see him, we see, Creed, we see, dude from Black Panther, we see, so we don't expect that. And it's just not the case. It's not the case at all. Just
could be any number of reasons why they like it. I saw someone had taken a picture of him at the basketball game, like right after this had gone public, like the day after, maybe two after it had gone public, and he was at the the finals, and they were like, "My man is hurt, man. Look at his eyes. I've seen that face, man." I was like, "Okay, all right."
And he might be dead.
Okay, and I mean, because I get it. Like, there are times you do got to get out of the house. You do got to get busy. You got to distract yourself. You got to be around stuff so you don't sit around and roll around on the couch with the old pizza boxes. Like, you got to do that. I get it, but like the way we were seeking, the fact that folks were seeking out ways to identify that pain, and then that was the post. Like, that's the post. The pain of him is the post. Why? Why do we care? So the next time she
Was
posted,
it
there's
was
a
there an
Lord
empty chair
Martin,
next to him?
huh?
I said, was there an empty chair next to him?
When? I don't know.
You know, then the empty chair next to him, like, see, she was supposed to be there with
That
him.
was they seats. He had to. But it's just so funny because the next time we see her, shit, she can post with her cousin, and we gonna be like, see, see, I told you, train them out. The bench was ready. Like it could be anybody. It's just so crazy. I'm thinking to myself, if everybody you ever posted a photo with your arms around them or their arms around you when you're single and hot as hell and rich and in rooms with these types of people, like where kisses and hugs, like that is just what they do. I just
Listen, I'm
wonder.
not rich and I'm not that famous. I'm not famous, but I'm careful about who I post pictures of.
Mhm.
So I can imagine somebody like them having
Yeah.
to all the stuff, the different things they got to go through. Because I know me, if I post a picture, it's gonna be the same thing. And so I'm like, oh, I'm getting 50 in by who is she? I'm like, that's my cousin. What you
Right.
mean?
It's like damn.
That's my cousin.
Pause for the caption, y'all. Pause for the caption.
I thought you was with such. It's just my cousin. Relax. We was just hanging out.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Like it's I can't imagine. But again, like I said, it's the same thing, and we get the same thing on the other side because,
Mhm.
whew, how many times if Hallie can't keep a man, then what do I have? I can't
Mhm.
get no, ma'am, ma'am. This is you just walking into this thing expecting for it to go wrong without even giving it a chance. But Hallie is beautiful and she paying child support, she paying alimony. Lord, I'm like, y'all relax.
Yeah. It's a
Not
lot.
your not your life.
Yeah. Let these people live. Let these people live. Michael B. Jordan will be okay. He is probably hurting, and I hate that he's hurting. Like if they were together and appeared to be a very very happy couple, I totally agree with that. It sucks that they split. It sucks anytime someone who appeared to be very very much in love and said that don't work out. But I think they are both going to be okay. They both find love. We'll be teaming, hashtagging them with somebody else's name again in a minute, and life will
Ooh,
go on.
listen, Michael. I ain't gonna say it. As long as Mike don't come out with a he'll be all right. If he do that, then they gonna get him. They gonna get him. But as long
That's
as
what was making me giggle so much because before her, like
that's all it was.
nobody wanted to talk about him before.
But
Like
no, they were talking about a
Killmonger
couple
saved
years
him. I
ago.
think Black Panther kind of maybe brought him back into the
Yeah,
fold, and then
before
he
that.
popped out with her, and they was like,
Yeah,
"Oh, well, maybe he
yeah,
does." But
yeah.
like, we just this our like for him is about as long as the things I just mentioned. Like, he was cute and everything, but there was always an asterisk
Yep.
attached to it. So the fact that everybody is crying big old tears and team
It's
him,
the it's a lot, but mostly it's guys. I mean, like I
yes.
said, for him, it's the guys because. And I
Mhm.
saw in the post people like, no, it's the double standard. I'm like, I mean, no, I mean, I can understand culturally there is, but the reality is again, it goes back to the idea that we got to deal with our own stuff. Like at the
Mhm.
end of the day, your own insecurities are your insecurity. And so
Yeah.
you got to deal with them and you got to stop entering into relationships carrying the insecurities and issues of people who you've never met from experiences you probably will never have or experiences that are just normal parts of relationships.
Mhm.
All of us, I tell people when you enter into a relationship, do not enter into a relationship if you are not prepared for the possibility of being hurt.
Yeah. It's a part of it. It's a
It's a
part of
part
it.
of the process.
Yes.
Your heart's going to be broken. Somebody's going to do something that you're going to be offended. So if you're not prepared to handle that, stay out of relationships.
Mhm.
Stay by yourself.
Yep.
Just a part of it.
Ciao.
Speaking of relationships, for those who don't know, we did launch our Patreon. So, you see, I slid that in there. We did,
I was waiting for. I was like, where are we going with this? But okay.
we did officially launch our Patreon, and so that allows us to have a deeper relationship because we get to give you Patreon only content. So we have a couple of different tiers that you can join us in. And so we want to give a shout out, of course, to KG who helped us with these names.
Mhm.
But our tiers are Have Scoop, where you get Patreon only updates in our private community, as well as Patreon only live stream. Then you have our Full Scoop, where you get the same as the Half Scoop, plus you get 20% off of merch, as well as early access to events. And then the Double Scoop, where you get the same as the Full Scoop, as well as Scoop Nation shout outs on our weekly show. You get Double Scoop only events, such as our upcoming Scoop of Sex, and also private interviews that you don't want to miss. So go to patreon.com/ Real Scoop Show to sign up. Patreon.com/ Real Scoop Show, and go ahead and subscribe today.
Yes, sir.
So slid that in there.
I like that. And you put your ad voice on. I got it. I got it. I saw it.
I learned from the best. I learned
I
from the
see
best.
you.
I've been
See
learning.
you.
I've been learning.
Mhm.
All right. Next.
Yeah, those bars got branded, KG. Like in real time. We took the next day that was on there. That was it right there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
All right, here's another one that was pretty controversial too this week, which I did not expect it to be, but okay.
What you got?
So this
Oh.
post, yeah. So this so the lady, I don't know what her race was, but said, "My goal in a relationship is to help my man become a better person, keep him out of trouble, and show him things about himself he never realized. Are these relationship goals, wife goals? Why or why not?" Chudowski.
I think the thing that probably triggered most people was to keep him out of trouble.
It was.
Yeah, I didn't look at this post. I didn't catch this one. But yeah, that is what rose my eyebrow. All these other things are a part of partnership. But if you are my mate, like my grown adult aged responsible frontal lobe fully developed mate,
Yeah.
I'm my job should not be to keep you out of trouble. I don't think
Now,
that's my goal. That's not my goal,
yeah.
is to keep you out of trouble. I think that should be your goal, is to keep you out of trouble. Or at this point, like, that's not really a goal of mine. I just stay out of trouble. Like, you know what I
So
mean? Like, I don't.
yeah. So I reframed it. So I posted, because Anisha responded to this and
Okay.
said the same thing. And so I reframed
Oh,
what
okay.
no, I'm just saying. So in the post, because everybody pretty much was saying what you
Okay.
exactly what you said. And so to her, I reframed what keep him out of trouble meant to say not so much keep me out of trouble, like keep me from going to jail, but like watch my blind spots. So, in the sense of if I am about to do something, and we do it all the time. So, if I'm about to do something like, I'm gonna use this is a real life example, like where I'm like, Q, let's do. We just had this guy. Let's do. Or I said something about I feel like doing a ball, like throwing a ball or a masquerade ball. She's like, we're not doing it. It's not going to happen. Shuts it down. Gone. And I'm like,
He makes me sound so hardcore when he brings this up.
because that's how you do. You like, we're
Now.
not.
Now I do it
Yeah,
that
yeah,
way.
yeah. He's like, we're not doing that. No. Who's asking?
Who's
Who
asking
wants
for
it? Who
that? I was,
wants it?
hey, I posted about that just yesterday. That
I
is like
saw
in my
it.
spirit now. I'm like, you know what? You qualify quite a few things with this.
So, so when you do that, that to me is my interpretation of
Yes,
keep
absolutely.
me out of trouble, because every time, so for those every time we've done it, we've lost money. So it's like, why do we keep doing something? That's her point. Why do we keep doing something? We'll say they want, they don't buy the tickets, we wind up spending, I wind up losing money. It's not a good event for us. That's the point. But that to me
In
means
love, in so much love.
absolutely.
Oh my God, so much love. I'm like, nah, bro, we ain't
It
gonna do that no
is.
more. But
But
yes, you're absolutely right. That is keeping,
yeah.
yes,
So
keeping.
that's to me is what, when I read this, that's how I interpreted keep me out of trouble, which is why I was like, okay, that's why I initially
Yeah.
said I didn't see this being an issue. But when people
Hmm.
kept over and over kept saying the same thing, I'm like, man, to me there is a disconnect in how we interpret this, because I feel like I'm supposed to keep the person I'm with out of trouble. Like, hey, you about to make a mistake, come back. Don't go that way. Don't do that. Don't say that. Come
I
back.
think that speaks to that initial reaction when we see that. Well, one, because it's literal. Keep him out of trouble is a literal thing. And in the realm of the conversations that we've been having, and the effery that's been allowed and that we've been excusing and somehow twisting and turning as what should be acceptable or something that folks should be, working through. When we see this like that, that's it. It initially sounds like, wait, no, nope, nope, good with that, good with that, hell no, that, yep, okay, now we can discuss it. But when
Mm-hmm.
you dig into it deeper, and I think for the average person, the watching of the blind spots, the being paying attention to the things that just in general, covering their person makes complete sense, and then you get a
Yeah,
completely different idea. But
exactly.
we're in a space as a community of identifying the crazy first. Like we're not looking for um
Crazy, crazy drama,
yeah,
trauma.
we're not looking for agreement first. That's not the thing. The agree or disagree is not, it's almost find a way to agree. Like make it make sense is
Mm-hmm.
almost the question that we're asking after every conversation starter like this. But yeah, covering is definitely in. That is a goal. That would be something that would be goals. And again, speaking to trust from the previous post, I would hope that my partner would trust my covering in that. When I say, maybe not so much on that, or who's asking for this? Like it's not met as a challenge. It's met as a covering. I'm telling you, I've seen this, I've heard something different, I've observed something different. I know what this looks like. This might not be what we need to do. And then
Right,
that's taken into consideration. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, even because I'm thinking, we just had a conversation this past Saturday, I think Friday or Saturday. We were having a conversation. I was telling Jamie some stuff I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm like, tell me what you see. Tell me what I'm like, tell me what you
Yeah.
see. How do we do it? And she was like, doo-doo-doo. I'm like, yeah, yeah. Wait, now what about this? And I'm like, that to me is keep me out of trouble,
Yep.
because I'm trusting your eyes. I'm trusting your instinct about some stuff that I'm feeling, and I'm seeing part of the picture, but I don't see the full picture. So show me the other side, or show me what I'm missing, and how we get this, or I can see the end result, but I
Mm-hmm.
can't see this middle part real good. Help me put that in the form. I
and
think.
the thing that makes that so beautiful and that makes that um beautiful is the fact that not only did she cover that blind spot, she equipped you with the comprehension of all that could happen, because that conversation is what was necessary. That back and forth that you
Yeah,
all
yeah.
engaged in allow your brain to wrap itself around even more. So like
Right.
those different turns and twists that conversation took allowed you to then be better prepared for rebuttals, for naysayers that you may encounter
Mhm,
in progress of the plan. Like you
mhm,
too now have not only your vision because it was rooted in you, so you have that creative flow already there, but now you
mhm,
have that logistics side that's been added to it, and you've been able
mhm,
to mesh that with that creation. So when you finish that conversation, you sitting back and you're marinating on all of that, and then your brain went in five other directions with
mhm.
that previous information now better suited to move forward. So that
Yep,
next conversation that you have
yep.
about whatever you've done next or whoever you talked to and collaborated with and built on that plan, you can come back and she gonna be, Oh, okay, yeah. So now, and we're gonna, and that, and it grows and it grows and it grows. So that is what, that's why that give and take that we talk about in almost all of our posts, that necessity of that other side, and it shifts whose side does, who does what side in different situations. But
Yep.
that is, so that's the beauty of that covering, and it's that was a really good example. But I really hope people get that, like on the replay, rewind that, listen to that again, because like that engagement, it wasn't just the check-in, it was also the engagement. And I think that's what's missing from a lot of those submission conversations that we have.
Right.
That conversation, it's not saying I'm not gonna do it, help me understand why we're doing it.
Because
You know what I
I'll
mean?
be like, but wait, why we do? What's that for? What we do?
Exactly.
This, and I'm like, but wait, but we gotta. No, we ain't got. Oh,
So you can't even do that until you do this right here. Because they're
okay.
gonna ask you for this when you get there. You know
And
what I
I'm
mean?
like,
It's like
well, then I'm like, but wait, but don't we gotta do this first? Oh yeah, we do gotta do that. But we
Mhm.
do that by do. I'm like,
Yep.
got you. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
And so, like you said, so then after the conversation over for 45 minutes, I'm sitting there going, okay,
Leveling up. You're getting more and more. You're adding to it. Yep. Yep.
okay, I see it. So, but I think so. To me, that when I think keep me out of trouble, that's what I, and then vice versa. Like,
yes,
same thing. Like, there's some stuff I'm like, hey, don't do that.
Ain't gonna work out how you think it is, player. Yep.
So I think that is the exchange that we're looking for. That should happen in healthy situations.
Yes. So, question before you move on to the next one. So, after you added that clarifier of the covering, did that shift how people understood that, or were there still some more that was to be
most
understood?
of the people still ran away with what it literally said. But like when I responded like that to Anisha, she was like, "Yes, okay, now this is actually under that understanding. Then yes, this makes perfect sense. This is what we're supposed to do to each other for each other. Yeah, like it was fine.
Gotcha.
Okay. Most of the people who read it was like, I'm not taking care of no grown man.
Yeah. That's.
But again,
a hard no for a lot of folks these days.
As I said, it made me realize the state of where people are. Like, this is really what's how, or you feel like it's happening in your relationship. So, okay. Katie said, my wife keep me out of stuff by not getting into stuff because I would burn the world down behind my woman. Yep, absolutely, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's true too, though. That is true. Knowing who you have and not creating situations that would put them in a space that is not good, whether it be physically, professionally, personally, just
that's
be
wisdom.
smart.
There's some wisdom there.
Yeah.
There is some wisdom there. All right. Next one. People who hide their feelings usually care the most. Agree or disagree? Or is this a defense mechanism or superpower? I felt like on this one I had to put my fire starter hat on. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I know people like this. I know a lot of people like this, actually. I think a lot of people, I know a lot of people who play like they're this. You know what I mean? They are definitely they're pulling the defense mechanism piece of this very much. And it stands out in the fact that they go out of their way to say they don't care or to highlight how disconnected they are from the thing. KG, they're deceiving for sure. But then if you pay attention, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I always say that unbothered people are quiet people. So the people that are always, I don't care, I'm unbothered, that ain't nothing, that ain't me, that those folks are often, it's never just that. It's that, and then it's a follow up, and then it's a 2 days later, we're talking about it again, and it's another variation of that thing. Like, it's not able to let it go. So like people who hide all of this, and they're aloof, and they never have any for anything. That is I'm not letting you in, because once you're in, I can't, I can't lose you. There is a I don't know if I
Mhm.
deserve it. Like there's a lot that goes on that I've observed with people who go out of their way to make it known that they don't have no feelings, they don't care, none of that stuff. Those are usually the most sensitive care. When you do break through all of that, they care about a lot, a whole lot. They feel a lot, and things are big deals to them that you would not even matter. You would not even think matter to them because they go out of their way to avoid all of those things. And it's not to say because I know when I let you in here, it's you ain't out. Once you in, homie. You know what I mean? Because there are people who feel that way, and that's not a possessive thing. It is a I love. I know we talked about love hard not so long ago, but like I love deep. I love what I care in a different way, and I let you. I'm more vulnerable to
Mhm.
you
Wow.
when I allow you in this way. So my probability of being hurt is heightened when you're in here. So therefore, you just don't get to come in here. Yeah, nobody gets to come in here. And
Usually,
that's how they move about the world.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking too also about the amount of most of the people who I know, um, not most, but a lot of people who I know are like this are also usually fall into either the people pleaser or the passive aggressive categories as well. So having, so a lot of times it's trying to decide whether just discern whether or not you're keeping your feelings to yourself because that it's wisdom, or you're keeping your feelings to yourself because you don't like confrontation and you are disengaging because you don't want to deal with whatever
Yeah.
could come from the way that you're feeling. And depending on which one it is, obviously determines what you should do. And some of us, like myself, my natural personality, my natural tendency is to be passive aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
So I always have to think like, okay, am I doing this because I don't want smoke today, or am I doing this because this is the right thing to do in this situation? Because I would say I would rather keep the relationship and shut up than lose the relationship and say what I'm feeling. But the reality is sometimes in order to keep the relationship, I need to say what's on my mind so that this person can grow, so I can grow, and we can. If our relationship is what it's going to be or what it should be or what it's going to become, then this confrontation needs to happen.
Yeah.
So I've had to settle in myself that sometimes there's a such thing as good confrontation, and especially if you're handling it or having the conversation the right way. Like you ain't got to just flip off at the mouth and say whatever, but you can say, "Hey, I don't care for that. That hurt my feelings," or whatever hurts me. Like you can say all of that and be perfectly fine, and it doesn't. So that's why I say I don't know if you care the most, and if you do care the most, what do you care the most about?
Mm.
So is it about the relationship? Is it about yourself? Like what are you caring the most about? So
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
yeah, just be an open book is easier. Yeah, I don't just want
Sometimes.
right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's reality. Sometimes being an open book is not a good thing. Yeah. I've learned to regulate. Some feelings are fleeting and do not need to be displayed. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've taken a lot lately to telling people emotions are terrible leaders.
Yeah. Yeah. I've
Terrible.
you just said something as far as like you won't say something in an effort to keep the relationship, and then sometimes you do need to say something to keep the relationship. And I that brought up, you're right. I'm the same way. That stuck out to me because there are some situations where I'm the same way. There's something that can bother me, but I will often question: Is this bothersome enough to be a deal breaker for me? If it is, then that's something I need to say because I care. But I also think that with all of that being said, because we put a lot of onus on the person is who has the thing, not necessarily the issue or the grievance, but
Mhm.
has the hard thing that needs to be discussed. And when it comes to that takes two. And the
Mhm.
willingness to do that sometimes very much depends on the person that you're dealing with. And I
Mhm.
think while we have these conversations, and I know this wasn't the post, but you brought up that was something really good, and I think we should talk about it. When you say, well, why didn't you say it? Or if a person just goes, if they couldn't bring it to me and, just left, and that was it, then they didn't care that much in the first place. Or, maybe they weren't that real. Or, if I didn't even know what happened and they just left. Okay, fair. That feels crazy. Like it makes you feel some type of way, especially if you thought there was a certain
Mhm.
understanding of relationship. But I often think sometimes we forget that people watch us engage with other people too.
Mhm.
People also have had smaller instances of conflict with us and seen how we've reacted to them.
Mhm.
If you have a history of having to explain your crazy, not only to the person you're engaging with, but others too. Like if there's often a disclaimer when it comes to engaging with you, like folks just expect a certain level of
Crazy.
extra, and over. Yeah, it's crazy. People will protect their peace.
Yes.
I need us to understand that we cannot continue to push all of that weight onto the people who chose peace over engaging with your lack of emotional maturity when having conflict with people that
Yep.
you love.
Yep.
That's not always they bad. They not always weak sauce. They not always fake. They could love the hell out of you. They could miss you. They
Yep.
could very, very much wish that things were different. If only
Yep.
they could have seen a way. Because if they've seen you drop everybody else and like you beat your chest about how quick you cut folks off and you don't care and they was like all that other stuff, what makes them so different? Because you said all that, hey, all that extra, you my boo, you my this, my that, until you didn't
That's what you
about
said.
all them other folks that
Exactly.
they done seen go. So like if you really do care about people, really care about people, that is look at how you engage and
That's
one
it.
really wonder why.
What you just said was actually was you said we judge how you care about people, people
Yes.
in general. So
Yes.
so if we're going to if we you can't say because some people will be like, but that's them, and I wouldn't do that to you. We don't discern that. We just see that this is how you treat people, and if
Yep.
this is your mo with people, then we're going to assume that that's the same way you're gonna treat everybody.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep. Yep. Especially if something that these people are doing, you can identify with.
right,
And if the only thing that separates you from the people is the fact that we're in agreement today, you telling me no, it ain't you, sis. It's you. No, that's because I'm sis today. But as
right.
soon as I become that bitch tomorrow after I done called you out on whatever, now I'm all of that you just did to them.
I
Or
heard
said about them or felt about
I heard somebody say your relationship is as strong as your no.
them.
So it's strong if you can withstand the no. When I tell you no, or when I don't agree with you, or when I don't tell you, when I call you out on your thing and don't let you just get away with your foolishness, and say, hey, that's where we really find out the strength of our relationship, not in the agreement when
Oh yeah,
everything is
not in the
good.
agreement.
I'm like, there's no truth to that. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's easy for us to get along when we in agreement
Yeah.
because there's no conflict.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yeah,
Yeah. How we deal with it, how we move through it, how we engage during, like all of that is so important. And it's when we have these conversations, and when I've ever done any reading or reflections with folks who counsel other people, it's often it's it's a list of different conflicts, failed conflicts, and the undealt with feelings thereafter
hmm
that created the full shabam of, you know, I'm just good.
hmm
And that is it's not usually one big earth crushing thing.
it's a bunch of them.
It's a lot of little bitty things, and it's those small disagreements that don't get really dealt with. It doesn't mean we have to join hands and sing songs and kiss it out when we're done, but have
Right.
an understanding that allows you to move forward without all of that unfinished negative energy. It's one thing to it's one thing to hope and manifest beautiful. But if you are left at the end of a really, really rough disagreement and there's still some undealt with or added to, now we got some new ish because this disagreement was just disastrous. So now we had our initial problem and now we done effed it up real good. So now we got some new
his
stuff.
problem. Yeah, you done exposed a whole other thing. I didn't even know
Because we've been
I didn't know
arguing
what to deal with.
for 40 nights, it's time to move on now. So we're going to shut up. But I got some more to say. You know what I mean? So I'm done, but I'm not. I'm done, but I'm not finished.
I'm done for
I'm
today.
done, but I'm not.
I'm done for today.
Yeah, for today. But then today becomes next week and next month and next year, or till the next big thing, and then the next big thing, and it just snowballs. But we don't ever deal with those things. But and that also, and the more and more we do that, how we engage in conflict shifts also. That's a transformation that happens.
Yep.
Because I'm bringing all of that last stuff that we talked about into this new stuff that we talked about too. So over time, that chips away at all of this maturity and all of this willingness and this patience and this, babe, what do they call it? The sandwich. All of my sandwich, boy, you better get this bread. Go and get out my face. Like that's you get there. The more and more
bread is gone. No more
damn
bread.
Sandwich. You ain't getting no damn sandwich. You know what I mean? This is we gonna talk about these two right here. Ain't no middle. Ain't no positive middle. Like we or whatever. However it go. Is the two
the positive is at the positive on the side. It's the bad in the middle. You keto. You don't get no bread
right here. We don't get this meat. Yeah, we go.
We don't keto in this relationship. They don't bread.
So I mean, we just really have to observe that over time. Like really, really take a look at that. It's not always them. Sometimes it's us.
But I think that's the other thing that's really good that you just brought that up too, is the reality that a lot of times it's again this holding it in is really not, all of this is really not about them.
No.
Like it's literally all about us, because the truth is you can't change how another person is going to receive what you say. You can change how you say it. You can make sure that you say it well. You can make sure that you're thorough. You can make sure that, you know what I mean? But I can't control how you're going to receive what I say. My job is to say it well and to say it in a loving way. And that's it.
And then be committed to working through the confusion. If you say I'm confused, I want to add. I would hope that if after it's landed and you identify that it landed wrong, I'm also going to stay engaged in them to make sure that we get it right. Like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're supposed to work through the conflict, but even if it is like, you can't control how it lands. No. You really can't. You can, again, I said it well, I said it clear. If you don't, like you said, if you don't understand, let's work through that. But once it's clear, I can't control that. I just have to say, I said it. I said what I said. I said it well. I wasn't rude or dismissive or hateful about it. You know what I mean?
No run-ons, proper punctuation. Like I paused for effect. I did all the things.
So now give that person the time to process because that person, just like we have to work through how to say it, they have to work through how to hear it.
Yes.
And so let them, and I know, I'm telling myself again, I know, like I said, I do it all the time. I'm like, hold on, give me a second, because what I heard you say was this, and I know that's not what you meant. What you meant was this, but what I heard is this, and in my body, I'm feeling this. So give me a second.
Yeah.
To get out of my feelings about me thinking that you're saying this. Mm-hmm. Unless that's what you're really saying, then tell me.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. That's what you're like. Give me right.
That's what you're really saying. Then I need to know so we can handle that. But I think you're saying this. Mm-hmm. Okay, give me a second. Like, I think we have to give people time.
Yep, you do.
Give them a second.
You do. And I think that's fair. No one else is in your head. No one has had those experiences that lead you to a certain place, even when that person has appeared to be doing something with you. I think that and that's also there is a crossover of having someone do it with you, but we don't realize that they are also bringing their experiences and their personal perception of these same events into this thing. So like you all are you're working towards a goal. You're coming in with all of your gung-ho, got it, we got our plan, boom, 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 boom. But this person may be coming in with a past history of, I don't do projects well because I'm the one that has to carry it away. You know what I mean? I got to come in and pick up the slack. Or I'm not familiar with this at all. Like, what is this teamwork? I don't know. What's this role play? Like, they fumble through all of it. Like, it's one of those, you got to figure it out together, but continuously check in with each other to make sure your plans are still meshed. You know what I mean? You're on the same, and then check for a different understanding. Okay, I'm good. Are you good?
Yes.
Look for the unseen, and to make sure that we're actually getting the same thing out of what we're getting it out of. Because at the end of it, if you're looking at each other, and another person is over there like they just went through the ringer, like, oh shit, whoa, that's because this person needed support as you were going through this thing together, and they just kind of were drug along, and that doesn't always fit and might not be purposeful. So you got to just check in. You good? You really good? Are you hearing what I'm hearing? Or did you see it? You getting that like I'm getting it? Because the whole level of how someone shows up to it changes when they feel supported in the process of. And it's really good. I love that you said, I feel this, and I don't think that's what you're trying to make me feel, but I also gonna need a minute. Now that I can get it, but I'm still not ready to now have this brain connect with that, because all of this in here is doing something different. Here's cool, here not so much. So I love that you said that part too, because a lot of the times people just, as soon as you say, okay, I got that, they're like, okay, well, let's get it. No, I can't get it yet though. I got it. I can't.
Give me a second. Yeah.
I can't get it yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Top of the hour. Let's go ahead.
See, we made that. We worked it out.
We did. We did. And we did well. Is it playing on your side? All right. You weren't playing? Okay. Let's try this again. Nope, still loading. It's still showing as loading. I gotta make
For some reason, I have Shy If I Ever Fall in Love in my head. Just the big ooh, ooh. I just have that part, just like the very first time. Why? I don't know, but y'all care.
That's a very interesting one to have in your head. That's for sure.
Just popped on in. Don't know where. I haven't heard that song in a good couple months, but it's there. Uh-huh. You're welcome, everyone who has now had that song looped. It's a good one. I could have chosen much worse songs to have looped into your bedtime.
It's on my playlist though. Like in my
fellas, you want to make her giggle a little bit? Boy, you crazy. Just come in the room. She gonna giggle. You're welcome.
She not lying.
Mm-hmm. She's gonna get the nostalgia, the goofy, all of that. All of that.
Especially if she's
right,
especially if she's like 35 plus.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. I'm speaking to the grown and sexy only right now.
If she's not in our age group, she probably will. She's like,
just saying. That's my mama and them song. My mama and them play that.
I don't know that song.
No, I can't say mama and them yet. Maybe auntie. It wouldn't be your mama and them. We wouldn't. I bet I had no kids. No. Let me hush. Never mind. Let me see. with my big grown son out here in these streets. Let me hush.
Listen, now he would sing that song though.
Oh, honey, he would, but I don't want him to be. Not like what I just said. I ain't trying to give him that tip. So I'm like, let me shut my mouth. Never mind.
Go ahead and say.
35 and up. That one was for you, fellas. I'm looking out for y'all.
Oh, now you want to look out for it.
Yeah. Oh no, I always look out for it. Don't do me. Don't do me. I'm equal opportunity finger wagger around here. Y'all, everybody can get it. Everybody. I believe in equity when it comes to fussing.
Really?
Right, Shanae. I ain't you make the types of tips I'm trying to drop this evening. Hey, at this point, I can just speak out this elegance by design thing. Hey, y'all, we having technical difficulties with that good old elegance by design hat on this evening, so I'm just gonna tell y'all a little bit about it, okay? Huh?
But now I got it.
Oh, well, go on and press the play then. I'd rather watch. So go ahead. I was about to say now we at 9:03. We started at the top. That sounds good.
Watch day has never been so simple, sis. Let's be honest. Rarely is spending a day bent over the sink and stuck under the dryer considered ideal for self-care. We got things to do, okay? So get back to it and trade those 5011 products for 3 of our best-selling staples for your basic hair care needs. Cleanse and condition your curls with our super rich, deliciously citrus-scented Quench shampoo and conditioner, and lock in that bounce and shine with our Do Me Daily moisturizing cream that gives your coils the proper stage to show out no matter how you decide to style. Grab yours today at elegancebydesign.com.
Hey. Get some. Right, Jamie. I don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it.
I'm going to teach it to him.
Get him, sis. Get him.
I'm teaching to him.
He don't need that. He already packing lunches and whatnot. He don't need no vocals to back
I'm
that.
teaching it.
He got time. He got plenty of time.
He already got Tevin Campbell. He's been doing Tevin Campbell. So can we talk? I'm like,
oh,
I want to know
your name.
I'm like,
oh, the throwbacks.
Last night I saw you standing, and I started pretending I knew you, and you knew me too.
Hey.
I'm like, that's my man.
Love me some Tevin. That was my first music crush. Tevin Campbell was my whole boo for way too long. Yes, forever, ever. Yeah. And then there was Tyrese and Sweet Lady. Tyrese stole the day from good old Tevin. That's when I discovered body. Okay. Tyrese was the girl up to what a body was, because Tevin was not Tyrese, okay?
It wasn't the singing on the bus, the Coca-Cola Tyrese.
Everywhere in the rain. That baby was Yep. Tyrese. He did that. Now I can't stand his ass, but absolutely I can look at him. He just should stand and be pretty. He should not speak. He should just be pretty because him's pretty. But yeah.
You don't know what you want from
me. Get him, just tell him. Put that away. Put that away. Yeah, Crisscross was cute, but they didn't do it like Tevin Shanae, and absolutely not like Tyrese. Oh, and Tyson Beckford was my first calendar. Okay, my first.
Really?
Oh, honey, yeah. Outside of Lisa Frank. Oh, Tyson. Got your girl up out of Lisa Frank. We had a orange. Listen, I'm a Capricorn. He had an orange vest. And that was it. And like
is that with the motorcycle in there? In the
it was winter. It was snow. He had the vest in the January. Follow me. Keep up.
look, I
Tyson, yes,
uh,
yes. Yeah.
uh, uh,
Mm,
it was all Tyra Banks.
yes. Tyra was,
Yeah, it
yeah, I
was
rock with
Tyra. It
her. I
was
believe it.
every month the new Victoria's Secret catalog came out with more Tyra Banks. And Tyra Banks in the locker in high school.
That video was dope as hell too, Shanae. The making me hot, yes, yes. With Tony's non-dancing self, but she did that on that one with a little
Yeah, nah, dancing
baby,
self.
baby, baby, baby. Ooh, mm, 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 mm. Listen, that was good music back then.
Yeah, it was not the same now.
And good visuals. Mm. That was when R&B was R&B. Yes, baby. Yes. Now that's what them youngins don't know nothing about right there. They don't know nothing about what we talk about.
Ooh, they don't.
Mhm.
All right, let's see who we at.
I don't even know now. That took us we
Here we go.
mixtaping it out for the second half of the
Here
show.
we go. Y'all ready?
Yeah. Mm.
All right. Saying how you feel will never ruin a real connection. Are there limits to this? Should your loved ones understand no matter what? Saying how you feel will never ruin a real connection. Are there limits to this? Should your loved ones understand no matter what?
Child, me too, Shanae. But listen, focus, focus, sis. Both hands, both eyes, focus. So no, saying how you feel should never ruin a relationship. No, it shouldn't. But how you say what you feel can. And to me, that is the limit. Very much. I think that is the boundary or the limit in which this gets blown out of the water. People can take a whole lot of tough stuff, but if you say it real rough, it gets real hard to digest. It gets real hard to love you when you're being real hard about some already hard stuff. So again, kind of like what I said before, we have to be accountable of how we say our things to the people. Doesn't mean that you're not right, or no one's saying you can't feel a way, but just how we're supposed to respect your feelings about a thing. I also need you to respect my feelings after I've heard the thing that you said. You know what I mean? Now I got feelings because because you done said it. You know, I feel some type of way because you done came at me crazy for something that might not even have nothing to do with me to that degree. So yes, how you say it, I'm big on this. Yeah, I'm big on this. How you I can take a whole lot. I don't mind disagreement. We can go back and forth, and I don't mean back and forth in a negative. We can have a conversation and not agree, and that be fine. And I will love you really, really well afterwards, especially after you've stretched me. If
Mm-hmm.
you come at me crazy, if you come at, you know, because it's not hard, for me. People know, it's pretty clear, especially if we having these types of agreements, kind of conversations. You know how to, don't do me. You know what I mean? And if you do, expect to get that afterwards. Don't hit me with, why don't you love me? I expected you to, because now you done got what you gave. Don't do that. Like, don't do that. And if I got to do it too many times, then I'm going to just stop doing you. That's just how that is, because that is just being a grown up. That is being a grown up. And if you care for me like you care for me, you're going to care about how you talk to me. Or otherwise, I just think you're manipulating this care that you think I'm supposed to have for you.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm only supposed to, if the care only shows up when you acting a fool, no,
That's
you,
not
I'm
care.
your crutch now. You don't care for me.
Not care.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's not care. Here
Mm-mm.
you go. I think is this what you're talking about?
Ooh, yes. Oh, shut it out. Yes, yes, yes. The slow. I love you, bro. That's how you my people. See, that's what I'm talking about. You're welcome, ladies. There you go. Throwback Tuesday on it. Yeah. Yes, yes. You could have took us off the screen for just a hot second. Just, hey.
But no, I actually, I agree with you that it's more so. I think that it is, that it is really. I disagree with this because, like you said, it really is about how you say it. Because I think a lot of times we think that people are, because the truth of the matter is sometimes we become abusive because we think that the person who we're in relationship with is supposed to put up with us no matter what. Like the security of the relationship means that I'm not supposed to exercise the same amount of emotional maturity, the same amount of grace that's given to other people when it's actually the inverse should happen. Like persons who we are closest in proximity to and closest in relationship should actually get even greater care than the people who we are in proximity to. It reminds me of that Nina Simone conversation. And so when I read this, that's what it made me think of. Like you have no, it was Nina Simone and I see his face. I can't remember his name. Lord help me.
Was it James Baldwin?
James Baldwin. Thank you.
Okay.
Conversation.
It was a beautiful conversation.
Absolutely.
So beautiful. Yeah.
And so it's like there's this expectation of where you can go out into the world and put on for them or be careful with how you speak to them. But when you come home, you don't do the same thing for me. And to me, this speaks. I specifically a lot, and I posted this earlier. How I'm having a lot of conversations with men who are who are saying this now. Men are saying the same thing. Like you are having this, you show disrespect to this honor to your people outside of this house, but in this house now you don't do the same thing. So now we have this.
Wait, that was not what you just posted. I know what you posted earlier. I commented on the post you posted earlier. That was not what you didn't talk about the dishonor.
I said it.
Talking about patience in that post. You talking about? Hold on now.
What I said was.
Yeah, what you say? You saw.
I said in my conversations, I hear men say their women give up on them because they become disrespectful if he doesn't change fast enough.
Keep going. That ain't all. You keep going. We talking about the root cord. That is not what you alluded to. Some more dishonor and dishonor after honor, dishonor after honor. That ain't what that's supposed to do. Okay, I'm gonna let you live. We'll discuss that. That ain't what you said. That ain't what you was alluding to on that post.
I said, I know most will say they do this, but ladies, do you find yourself becoming frustrated with your man because he isn't growing as fast as you would like? In my conversations, I hear men saying their woman gives up on them and becomes disrespectful if he doesn't change fast enough. Let's talk. That's what I said.
All of these words talk about waiting a little bit, being patient a little bit. You ain't said none of that dishonor and all the disrespect and all that. It's because, bro, hurry up. That's all. And even if you read the comments, you see that's what. Okay, carry on. I'm gonna let you have that, but that ain't what you said. That ain't what you said on that phone.
I just read what I said.
Okay, carry on.
So, as I was saying,
now, as he's saying now, not then, now.
As I'm saying now and then.
Go on, bro.
Oh, what was I saying? Anyway, what I'm saying is
that men are now saying that
we all have to be more patient. We all have to be more careful with the people who we are closest to instead of, so we can't just say what we want. Mm-hmm. Is the point. Lord Jesus. See how they do me, KG?
Ain't nobody doing you nothing. Go back and read them damn comments. I ain't crazy. Oh man. Everybody on there talking about timing and waiting a little bit. No,
And
we
they
are
are.
timing
That's
is
why I'm
off and
like,
all that.
they are. I will give you
Because
that.
that's what you mentioned.
That's what the original post said, and that's what you all are responding to.
Okay. All right.
So what else you got to say about the post?
Nothing. Nothing now. Shit. I misunderstood it, obviously. So my comments are null and void.
No, it's not null and void. I mean, it all is the same. The point is,
Oh
on
no.
the
Okay.
post, I was talking about time. I was talking about patience to develop on the post.
Yes.
And because of the person not moving fast enough, a level of dishonesty or disrespect and dishonor that happens because of that. That's
Okay.
my point.
All
My
right.
point is, and I'm saying in this conversation, I'm saying that if we say what we want, then the same thing can happen because now that other person, excuse me, is going to feel dishonored and disrespected because we're saying what we want without being careful or thinking about how we're saying it.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's how I was connecting it.
You
Whew.
did that. You brought it together. Okay.
I think
Mm-hmm. Mm. We good. We was always good.
I know.
I was just but to your post though, I think I said on there like, yes, that does get hard. It does get hard,
Yeah.
and it's often for as far as the patient's perspective. I think patience is something that is fine and go. No one really has a big problem with patience. I think
Perspective.
the
I think is
frustration
something
that where frustration comes in for
that
the
is
person
fine.
being asked to be patient. Where's that coming from?
Sorry.
Okay, you were good. I had to make sure I didn't have any windows open because sometimes I have a Facebook one somewhere else. I'm like, what have I clicked?
That was my
Um,
Facebook.
but oftentimes the person who's been asked to be patient is frustrated because the person that's asked that of them, does not also offer patience or grace to them while executing.
Mm-hmm.
When someone is asked to be patient while someone else comes brings themselves along, the other person is executing in their absence. So when frustrations show up behind the execution, often, that solo execution or that minimal, it's not that full on partnership that's happening. That person has a different level of needs, a different set of needs that come with that. And I think that gets hard sometimes for them to be able to express that to their person and then still be considered patient and supportive in that process. So that's where I think that difference might come in. Did you hear what I was saying while you went away? I'll probably say it much better this time around. What I was saying was when the person who is being asked to be patient needs the other person to give them some grace while they're executing, because that brings forth another set of needs, another level of frustration to them also. They also need to be given the patience and the grace and the room to be able to express that frustration or those feelings without that person taking that personally to the point
Mm-hmm.
where like it's not supportive. That's where I think that frustration begins to build when a person is asked to be patient, be patient, be patient. I'm working on it. I got it. It's not the matter of the try. It's not the fact that you're doing the thing. That's not it. It's you're doing the thing, but then you're expecting me to not have to react to the fact that this thing's still not done, or I'm still doing, you know what I mean? Or there, so that's a disconnect. It's a delusion that, to expect that person to continue to operate as though there is not something that is not fully being
Done.
executed. There's a deficit there. You know what I mean? And I'm supposed to just act like there's not, or they're supposed to just act like it's not. And then I'm unsupportive if I'm saying, now come on now, like you
Right.
can't tell me that you don't see that this is a thing. And I think
Yeah,
that's how that gets twisted. It's
that's
kind of
true. That's good. I'm glad you said that because I know from a male perspective that to hear that at times, especially when you're in the grind,
Yeah.
can be, is to hear that frustration
Yes.
of the person who's asked to be patient can feel like um, you're not recognizing you're not recognizing the progress,
Mm-hmm.
or you're not recognizing like the attempt. So, but I also, to your point, which is a very good point, have to recognize, and I have to do this for myself sometimes to recognize like that there are things that this is costing that I don't necessarily, that even though it does take, even though I recognize the cost because I don't directly have to feel it,
Mm-hmm.
or indirectly have to feel it, that I can't not consider the other person's feelings or the impact. Let me say that the impact might be different to somebody else than it is to me.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, so I wonder, what I'm thinking through is how do we give that space without, number one, demotivating the person, and number two, like how do we, without dishonoring the feelings, because on the one side, so the person who's doing, if they're, especially if they're in progress, so to speak, let's just say they're
Mm-hmm.
in progress and they're doing it, to hear this is taking too long, this is frustrating, can be demotivating, right?
Yes.
But that's you're right. It can be
Mm-hmm.
demotivating, and the way you feel should be heard, should be, you should have the space to say it. So how do we have both of these happen where you get to, say what you need to say, feel what you need to see, still feel supported and really honored and thankful, like when you, because I think that a lot of that is when you take the step back, you say, man, I really am grateful for my partner who is going through this and walking through this process with me. So I want to be grateful for that. And I want to finish so they can reap the benefits of all of this patience. But at the same time, how do we do that and not be unmotivated? Like unmotivate the person. So I think I don't know, there's two competing things happening, that both should be um,
Mm-hmm.
should be honored.
I think I haven't figured this out totally.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I have not figured that out. But I think sometimes we put a lot more. You can't only get your support and motivation from your partner. I think in a
Sure.
way, not saying you need to seek outside folks to go and fill you up, all that other. That's not what I'm saying. But if this is your thing, like if that's the thing, and you know that is a potential, like you got to have outlets that are not always your partner, because
Absolutely.
at some point you have to become the outlet for your partner. So if
Hmm.
your partner has a truth and is feeling that frustration that we were just talking about and needs to share that, and that does, it's honest, it's true, it's right, it's due, it's all of those things, and it just sucks right now, you still got to be that person to hear, because she can't go say that to somebody else. That then,
Hmm.
now that's
Right.
a mark. That's the
Right.
red card. Do not ever. So
Right.
if she can't, then you gotta be.
Right.
So if once she shares that, or he shares that, if that's the other way around, wherever,
Hmm.
however it may go. But I'm
Hmm.
a woman, so I'm gonna say it. I'm just gonna keep it
Yeah.
easy. But once she shares that with you, you then need to be able to receive that, acknowledge it, say what you got to say. Make it reassure, do all of those things, and then you go get in that moment. That's when you go to your backup,
Absolutely.
and you get remotivated, because hey, baby just told me da 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 da, and she is. This is heavy. This is hurting. She's tired. She's fresh. She ain't even being able to show up and do the things and do, because she's feeling that. So then you go and you do that, and they say, "Hey, man, that right there should have got you going. Why are you talking to me? You should be at work right now. You should be studying, da 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 da, because
Right.
you got something to do. You got,
Something to do.
that's where you go and you get that refuel over there, because you got to be able to, because that is a part of the in progress. You can't be in progress but then expect that other person to also be the one tutoring you in the
Yeah.
process, like, so to speak, in that process. You get
Well,
not
not all
tutoring.
the time.
I'm
Not
just
all the
trying,
time.
yeah, but
I
like
know what you mean.
they also need their moments.
Yes,
So
they
you got to
can.
be able to spread that out,
Yes.
because if that's the union, you know what I
Because
mean?
if they're in the because to what you're saying is, if they're in it with you, they're in it with you. So the
They're in
same
it with
pressure,
you.
so the same
Yes.
pressure that you're feeling, there's a similar
Right.
pressure for them.
Yes. Yes.
All right, I'm gonna do this one first. So Candace says, but there's a line there's a fine line to walk to make sure you're not cross the breach of confidence in that relationship. Absolutely.
Yes.
So this is
Yes.
why, Candace, to your point. First of all, you're absolutely right. But this is why I believe that in relationships, the person that whoever that person or persons is in your relationship should be somebody that both of you are comfortable with.
Yes.
So, like, I'm not, if my person, one of the people I have these conversations with is Q, like, I'm not going to have these conversations with Q if I know that Jamie doesn't
Right.
like it, has a problem. Like, that would be problematic because
That
then
would
now
be problematic. Yep.
there's a breach of trust that's happening in that. But if both of you are aware that this is the person, hey, who I talk to, this person is not someone who is, girl, break up with him. He ain't,
Right.
like, as long as you know all of that stuff ain't happening, it should be cool. Um,
And it doesn't have to be a pouring out of what's happening in your relationship. What I mean
correct.
by talking to someone, when you're feeling down about the fact that you're still not where you're supposed to be, you can still have a support system of people who just know what it is that you're trying to achieve and are invested in you achieving that goal. So after you're giving, after you've had a rough conversation, you can then go to them and say, this is what I need. I'm feeling down. I need to get back. I need to get back on it. And that person, those people, whoever they may be those folks that give you what you need to refocus and get back on your grind. It doesn't have to be someone that you go and necessarily say all of the things that are happening in the relationship, but you could tell someone, I had a rough conversation with my spouse, and this is also taking a toll on them, and now that's kind of shaking me a little bit, and I got to figure this out. I need to talk this through. That, I think, is not breaching confidence. That's not giving all the tea. That's not doing all the things. And to me, that would not be something that I would consider, or I would hope that my mate would consider as a breach of confidence in that respect. But I also do completely agree. You got to be careful with your people, and you do have to be careful with what you share and making sure that they are comfortable. But yeah, when it comes to trying to do something new and something like that, especially if it's a long-term thing, I think it's important to have people from all kinds of different types of thought supporting you or have some investment in that that goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I call Kelly for certain stuff. I call Michelle for certain stuff because I'm gonna get two totally different types of feedback.
All right, Jimmy says, I agree, Q, but also the frustration can come when the plan isn't properly conveyed during said process.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Had to have that conversation last week before last. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. And I handled it. I think I handled it okay.
Eventually, you got there.
No, I think at the moment I did okay. I think
Okay, good.
at
Good
the
time.
moment I did that one okay. Because again, it was like, oh, I didn't say that. Oh, okay. Let me communicate that better. Yeah. Because I will say that part I recognize about myself. Like I can get in stuff and be going and not say what I'm doing and be like, oh, hold on,
Yeah.
this is what I'm doing.
See, she agreed. She said, yes, she did.
Communication, communication. The point is the journey. Uh,
Touch points on the journey.
touch point. Thank you. It always has that word. Touch points on the journey to there is key. That coupled with reassessment of how the households need shift yearly, etc., to see if shifting needs to occur while working towards said goal. Yeah.
Yep.
Candace said it really should not be family. I'm gonna be honest with you. Most and almost 99% of the time, I'm gonna agree with that. There are some
Mm-hmm.
times where family's okay, but I absolutely
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Um,
Big facts. All caps.
there are times I'll be like, I can't stand this.
Ugh, in and out, in and out. Again with it.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, I think that it's difficult, and I I said that not as I was gonna tell him, but he didn't answer the phone. I called my dad last week. I was calling him to tell him to talk to him. He didn't answer the phone this one time, but I made the statement. I was thinking when I was calling him to ask him like, at what age do you feel like an adult?
Mm,
I was like, because I think at 42, I finally feel like one.
mm,
Like,
It's clicking. It's starting to click for you a little bit.
yeah, like I'm 40, and I'm like, I wonder, like, for other men,
Mm-hmm.
like when this happens, when it's like, you know how like I think it's in sports when they say like you're in the when you get in the pros, the game slows down for you and everything starts to be moving in slow motion, and that's how you're like you're
In the
there.
groove.
Like that's how I'm just getting at 42,
Mm.
almost 43. So it's I can see the difficulty for other people who aren't there yet in that process,
Mm-hmm.
because I still make a ton of mistakes and ton of mistakes doing it. I'm supposed to be the expert,
Mm-hmm.
so I can just imagine the level of patience and process that it takes for everybody to have to walk through this, through growing together, through
Yep.
working through a plan together, through trying to undo your stuff while trying to do with somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh Father, like
Yeah.
this it can be tough.
Yep.
It can
Yep.
be tough. Even the best situation, like the best
Mm-hmm.
moments can be tough because now you're trying to unpack yourself and understand them and deal with all of the stuff that you got to deal with at the same time. So I don't know.
That right there is one of the very reasons why it's so hard for me to go so hard one way or the other on a lot of our conversations, a lot of the things that we just kick around in general.
Mhm.
It's a very, and I know I know that it drives folks crazy, but I would hope that that is honestly something that we all would try. It's a challenge because I'm very opinionated. I know what I feel about a thing, but I think it's the willingness to see the other side, the different, even if you don't agree, but the willingness to be able to just see. I can always say, yeah, I wouldn't have done it, but I can see it. I can see how that tracks. You know what I mean? Like, depending on what, if you put all of those things in line, I can see how that would happen. Because at any point along this journey, any one of us could have, did, maybe
That
doing.
very thing.
You know what I mean? So it's just one of those the forgetfulness that falls upon us once we've become has been interesting. So it's one of the things I have to constantly remind myself that yeah, that could be, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they should never be great again, but that could be. I could see it because we're all figuring this thing out. I'm 38, and some days I feel like I got it, and some days I damn don't. Like I just don't. What are you doing, Shakila? Like you know better than that. What are you doing? And again, I'm like, yeah, I ain't got it. Like, you got to go back to that damn board, okay? And you need a whole new pack of markers because you messed that one up. So yeah, I ain't too quick to wag my finger in that way, like that final judgment finger. Just girl, get it together. I'll tell you to get it together. I'm gonna tell you to do better, but I ain't gonna say you can't never do it again. But yeah, that was grace is abundant for those who seek it. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like our parents' generation were different at our age with maturation, or is it just me? At 38, trying to think of my parents. 38.
So this is why I was calling my dad,
Mm-hmm.
because I realized when he was 42 how old I was, like 12, 13, like 13,
Mm-hmm.
13. No, 42. No. I was 20. But I'm 20. My dad was born in 56, 66, 76, 86. I'm 23 years younger than him. So at 42, I would have been 20, 19. my my son is 9, but 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 at 19, so I was in college.
Mm.
So just thinking about where he was when I was in college as opposed to like where I am now.
Yeah, I was 14. When my mom was 38, I was 14. They had it pretty together. They had quite a few closed door conversations. So, they very much believed in grown folks, grown folks and kid conversations. But they also did, we didn't, I think they were pretty stable around. By the time I was 14, yeah, they had a lot understood, it seemed.
I think from so at 19, my dad was actually going through divorce.
Mm,
So it's like
mm,
right after my parents had right in that time when my parents had just gotten divorced, or he was
okay.
coming on the other side of divorce. So I think in that time he was getting it together
Hmm.
from a,
Hmm.
relational
He
standpoint.
was starting over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from
And
a,
getting it together at the same
yeah,
time. Yeah.
from an emotional relational standpoint. I mean, from like a financial standpoint, he was good. Like he was
Mm,
doing well at that point in corporate America, making good money. Like that part, yes. But in terms of like relation, like where he is now as a man, I tell him all the time, like, dude, when I was a kid, you were a tyrant.
mm,
Like, whereas now there's a level of emotional maturity that he didn't have then. But again, he was, I was 23 when he was born. So,
yeah.
um,
Oh, well, then, on that, they had stuff they working through. They worked through.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think on some levels, yes, they were. Our parents were different, but I also think too that what they were thrown into was different. Like
Mm-hmm.
the world was different. So
Mm-hmm.
as black people, our struggle was different then.
Yep.
So yeah, there was some areas I would say they were because they had to grow up a little faster. But then there was some areas I would say no, no,
Mm-hmm.
no,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
But I think and again, I think, well, everyone will agree with this, but that's with any, I think our generation will be better equipped in this area eventually. Our generation are the next one after us. Not sure for us because we still toggle back and forth between getting it and really digging into it and
foolishness.
playing, yeah, acting like it ain't, so I kind of wonder. But I think as far as at least being willing to have the conversation and try and engage to it, to communicate and engage differently from a more soft space, less necessity, less security driven, as far as checking boxes and all that. I think we will begin to see that question answered differently over time. But I think there was a different priority that has shifted from our parents in that time as to now. When I think back on, what I mean, the priority for mental health, for having the conversations, for digging into it, for figuring it out, for listening to the person as opposed to just saying your stuff. All of those things, that's what we on the couches for right now. You know what I mean? So that's what we're working through. We're figuring out the solutions, the different tips and tricks, and doing the gentle parenting and the use your words and all those. Not saying it all works all the time. It doesn't work all the time for every child or every family, but we're at least trying. It's not the two things: either you spank or you don't. Either you're this or you don't. Or you're that. Like, we have more remixability in what's going to work for the individual, which I think was way overdue. Um, Way overdue. And I think it's a good thing, but I'm interested to see the future. We still, because we're a hybrid generation. We
Yeah,
were the ones that came in on all of this automation and fast and go. So a part of our core brains are still very manual. We're
right.
still
We're
very
still
cool.
back there.
We're still very,
Yep.
hey, what? Like, slow down, what? That ain't how that's supposed to go. We're still very set in how it's supposed to be.
Yep.
We remember what things were supposed to be like. Next, don't remember. We gonna figure it out. This is what we think it's supposed to be like. So that's what it's gonna be like. That blows still kind of for us. We still have random moments of when it comes to now. It's like this now. No, no, it's like this. Like, and then we're the old folks in the room because we remember that for so long that's how it was
I
supposed to
was. Yep.
be. Yeah, that's
And
how it
that's what
was.
we were taught, and that's how it was ingrained.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what worked. So yeah.
Yeah, they don't know nothing but this.
Uh,
This new stuff, they don't know nothing but where we at.
Yep.
Mhm. Mm-hmm.
I think the life expectancy was around 55 old. Then two main causes heart issues, so probably a lot more stress from holding a lot in.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. They had a whole lot of, and we do too. Like I talked to my mom and she can't imagine. Like, and my mom was born in 1960, so like she went through a lot of the stuff that we see in the, that we see and go, oh, I can't believe, like that was them. You know what I mean? But she watches the news and hears about what our kids learn and the things, the conversation, and she says, "Baby, I can't
Yeah.
imagine." You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. We
Yep.
have fire and tornado drills. These babies know how to barricade doors and
We was lining up in the hallway, putting your head in between you. Yep.
yeah, yeah,
Yep. And they like you said, they learn how to barricade the doors with active
yeah.
shooter drills.
I don't even hear about fire and tornado drills no more. I don't think I've even heard. Like I don't know I don't even know if they do that. So yeah,
Yep.
times change.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right, last one. Last one. Again, don't forget, if you haven't joined haven't gone to our Patreon. If you haven't gone to our Patreon page, don't forget to go over and subscribe. Yeah, you can go over. You can see we have different levels of support that you can have. We have our half scoop, our full scoop, and our double scoop. Each get different levels of access. So you can go to patreon.com/real scoop show. Patreon.com real scoop show. All right.
Yes, yes, sis, it's up. Get on in there.
Last one, last topic, last topic. Everything is better when you decide you don't care. Agree or disagree? Can you relate to this feeling?
Mm-hmm. Everything is better when you decide you don't care. I think this is situational, but this can be true. I can relate to this. I think a lot of people can. I think not caring is often that disconnect needed to heal. Sometimes that comes before, yeah, I'm good and we're good and we can move on. So I can understand the need for not caring. I do not think it's healthy to have this as like a core tenet of your life though,
Okay, I agree
to
with that.
just not care about nothing. But I can't. The human part of me has needed to not care. There's been a time where I care too much about this. I'm too invested in this thing. I'm gonna need to not care about this like that for
Hmm.
me. So I'm gonna move on. You know what I mean? So I can identify, but I think it is very unhealthy to live your life disconnected.
Yeah, I think so. You know me, I'm thinking, okay, not everything. No, everything is not, but there are a lot of things that are better when you don't care. Yes, but I'm like everything. No, not at all. I think that there is that there should be a healthy level of. 'Cause I think too much means that you're willing to at times will be willing to compromise your core values, and that's not healthy. And then I think, but in some instances, I think not caring enough um, makes it. I don't want to say it. It makes it. We don't invest the necessary parts of whatever to get a full like we're a full try out of the thing. So I think like in the context of relationships, about the times when I was like when I didn't care, and how easy it was for me to just disassociate myself from a person because I didn't care when those were quality people and I never really gave a chance. Like so, I think about those things and how that was unhealthy to do. But at the same time, there's definitely been some times when these were crappy, where they were crap people, and I cared too much. And so there's this got to be this good balance of I care enough about the right things,
Yeah.
or I care about myself enough to know that at some point I have to, like you said, disassociate myself, disengage when it gets to a point where it starts to compromise the parts of me that cannot, I can't compromise in.
Yeah. Yep. And sometimes, even to your point about everything, and I know we've already covered that it shouldn't be like your way of life,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
everything in the very basic realm of everything doesn't apply. But sometimes there are certain situations, and they're not always even romantic, but there are some things that you can care about that do affect it. Your
Hmm.
care for that thing affects everything,
Hmm.
because your focus and your energy and your brain power, all of that is so focused on that thing, everything is falling apart around you.
Hmm.
And in those moments, you have to disconnect to save
Hmm.
yourself. You got to be able to pull all the rest of your life together so that you got something to hold on to. Whenever this thing has got all your investment is over with, you have to pull back some. You got to reclaim yourself so that you can have something after the fact. So that's
Absolutely.
where those I think
Absolutely.
that everything will apply, because that's why I relate to this, because sometimes you do got to pull back from something because everything is falling apart because you're just not,
Hmm.
you ain't doing what you're supposed to
Absolutely. Absolutely.
be.
And see, I don't. Yeah. So yeah, I agree with. I understand. I understand that. I don't think that.
Yeah.
I think in that instance, like I care, but I just can't. Like there are things I
Mhm.
care about that I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't engage in. Like
Yes.
I know I can't go there because if I go there, it's going to affect everything else, and I got too much going on
Mhm.
right now to give this that level. But I care. I can't give it that level of attention, energy, whatever,
Mhm.
because it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. So
Hard out here for a pimp.
yeah, I mean, I gotta be selective. I think we have to be selective.
Mhm.
You know,
Yep.
the reality is we are limited. We are limited resources,
Yeah.
so we have to be very careful where we give our resources.
Mhm. Yeah. And we're so oversaturated with causes. There's
Hmm.
so much to care for right now. You know what I mean? So like and I think we've gotten kind of outside of ourselves from a discipline perspective on
Hmm.
that, because it is so much, and it's so much, but it's so consistently so much. It feels normal after a while.
It
You
does.
get used to the consistent much.
Yep.
So the idea of turning off the much sounds crazy, because like I got it. I got
You
it.
know what? That's interesting that you said that because I actually just had this conversation with myself.
Mm.
Like I've gotten accustomed to chaos, a certain level of
Yeah.
chaos
Yeah.
that I cannot expect everybody else to be accustomed to.
Mhm.
And so, if everybody else is not accustomed to this level of chaos, to other people, this can be
A lot.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
Whereas to me, it's like this is normal. Why?
And
Why?
I got
This
some
is
stuff that
normal.
needs to be added.
Yeah,
Like
I got this
this
stuff
ain't
to
even it.
do. You,
Yeah.
this is normal, and but
Mhm.
that's not everybody's normal.
Yeah.
And so you do have to, and I think people we have to also get comfortable to your point of also saying like being comfortable saying it's not my fight.
Baby.
It's not my fight.
It's
Like
not my ministry. I'm gonna
I
keep on
can't,
moving.
I
Yeah.
can't do this. Like somebody else has that lane. My lane is here,
Mhm.
and we've had to do that on this show. Like our
Yes.
lane is here, and we're
Yes.
gonna stay here.
Mhm.
Not worry about let them handle that. We got
Yeah.
this lane
Mhm.
right here,
Yeah.
and so it's like, all right, I have to stay here in my lane because if I get over there and over there and over there, now I'm stretched so thin that when it's time for me to do this thing, I
Mhm.
don't have enough of me to do it. So let me stay right here,
Do
what
what I
I
do
need to
best.
do,
Yep.
and support those who are doing the other
Right.
as best
Right.
as I can, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's hard. That's a hard thing to come to,
Mhm.
especially when you have the desire to help or you have the skills or the gifting to do certain.
Woo.
It's like I can't do all. I can't do
Yeah.
all, or I can't do all right now. Maybe I can
Right
do that
now.
10
Yeah.
years, but right now I got to do this, and
Yeah.
that is hard for me to do.
Me too.
That's super
I
hard.
just told my supervisor last week at our one-on-one, I said, don't let me say yes to nothing else. I said, I know they say yes to everything and figure it out. Don't I'm out of the capacity to do anything extra right now.
Hmm.
So that I can do what you need me to do when
Hmm.
you need me, because I see that there's a space that you're gonna need me at some point. Don't let me fill that up. with something else. I don't have the capacity to add some new nothing to
Mm-hmm.
my plate. And she said, thank you
Mm-hmm.
for telling me that. I appreciate that. Because like I too struggle with that, you know, and professionally and personally. Like I struggle with the I got it. Send it to me. Email it to me. I got it. I'll send it back. I ain't got it.
Can't
I
do
ain't
it.
gonna send it
I
back.
can't do it.
Don't
Can't
email
do
it.
it.
Don't send that to me.
Yep.
Like don't do that. You know what I mean? And I've had to, there's a lot of pressure that surrounds that, especially when you have become the person for a thing. When
Yep.
someone identifies you as that's your thing, that's your thing, and especially if they start with, you're good at your thing. So when you realize that you might need to take a step back from your thing, or you need to readjust your thing, or you just might your thing ain't thinging the way it's supposed to right now, explaining that adds even more weight, more pressure to it, because now you gotta it's not going, you got it. It's okay. You got it.
Not right now.
Not right now.
Nope.
You know what I mean? The thing, because if I give it to you what I got right now, you ain't gonna want it. Like it ain't what you wrote, it ain't what you
Yeah.
expect, it ain't what you used to. And I think that's something we have to get really, really, we've got to start getting better at telling people and owning and not holding guilt in that. There's no guilt in taking care of yourself. There should be no guilt attached in taking care of yourself. You got to put some respect on your name before other people will. Like they see the thing that you offer. You are the thing.
Yep. Final thoughts.
That was them. No, I'm playing. Right there. That.
Your final thoughts.
No. This is a really good talk. I'm glad that we actually kind of went into our rabbit holes this evening. We went down a couple different paths tonight that I think were really, really good. And these kinds of conversations and the way that they evolve is what I hope we're having with our friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that you have 2 to 3 people that you can have deeper connections with, that don't expect something from you. You don't expect something from them. There's no expectation of exchange other than thoughts, other than support, other than I see you. You know what I mean? Because there's so much to learn from just engaging and listening.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I say engaging, it's not just sitting around bouncing words back and forth off of each other. Like listening,
Yeah. Yeah.
thinking, sending something back, like that boomerang that happens when you're having a really, really dope conversation, like the ones that you sit and you're just stuck and like, I love your brain. Like, have you ever had a conversation with a person where you and I love your brain? Like just those types of
Yeah.
things when
Yeah.
you can get deep and lost in the brain power of someone else. I think it's so dope. I think it's amazing. And I encourage us to get in love with somebody's brain. Like get outside of yourself enough in the next 5 to 7 days to just dig in to somebody else's thought process just for a minute, and allow them the same to you. Be open enough to do that same thing and don't feel it's awkward or are they going, who cares, it's you. Like it ain't gonna change who you are. Show up and like share that, because you really don't know how that shifts someone. They're gonna take that, they're gonna put that in their pocket, they're gonna sit back with it later. Hmm, hmm. Okay. You've equipped someone else with a different version of an experience
Mm-hmm.
by that dig in. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
so dope. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's so dope. So do that this week.
Good.
I think you should do that this week.
Yeah. No, I think my final thoughts tonight are um, give yourself and others more grace.
Mm,
I think that
so,
there
so
is
good.
a such a heavy burden that is happening to people right now that we've got to be willing to give each other grace. Slow
Mhm.
down. I like the cue. Slow down. Have some conversations, and not so much conversations for solutions, but conversations for understanding.
Mhm.
Because I think as we expand our understanding of a thing, it expands our ability to be gracious and merciful and really just find ourselves saying, okay, like you said, I might not get it, but I can see how you got to this point,
Mhm.
how you can think like this, or how you get into this situation because yeah, okay, that's a lot. That's a lot
Yeah.
that you had to go through to get to that. Okay, so yeah, I would just encourage you to do that and take some time. Like I said, take some time to yourself, love on yourself. And last but definitely not least, I want to say Happy Father's Day.
Yes,
The
daddies.
fathers out there, yes sir, all the fathers out there, I want to wish you a Happy Father's Day. Listen, you might get some socks, and you might get some socks and ties, sir. But understand you are valuable, you're needed, you're loved, you're wanted, you are
Yes.
so like you that dude. So I want to say Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. Hope you enjoy your day. I hope you enjoy your week. I hope you, if nobody else tells you, know that you are appreciated and needed.
Yes, ditties. Hey, ditties.
So, so
Yeah.
happy Father's Day to all the men out there, all the fathers out there. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Mhm.
All
Daddies, ditties, zaddies, all of y'all.
right,
Y'all be
y'all.
taking care of them babies.
Yeah, thank you for good show tonight, Q. Good show
Yeah.
tonight, everybody. All of our everybody in the comments. We appreciate you all. Y'all come back next week for another great show. We're gonna keep it coming. So
Happy
see
birthday,
you.
sissy.
Yep. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. And one more time for Q. There you go. Go ahead.
Mm, yes. In the snow, in the nude, bucket naked now.
Bucket naked in the
Bucket
nude.
naked, in the
In
nude.
the nude. All right, y'all.